Conversation. Hello, welcome to Coulee Conversations. You're watching KQEG UPNTV-23, and my name is Eleanor St. John. This has been, I've got to pass this message on. It's been such a long time that I've been holding this name here. I want to say hi to Pat McCabe. I visited with her recently as we sat and had dinner together, but I want to make sure that I say hello to Pat McCabe. I really enjoyed our evening. Next, our agenda today is to talk about our topic, which is Chaos on Wheels. And this is a program that's got a dual purpose. I guess you could say almost as many as the axles there are on your vehicles. But I'd like to introduce you to our guests at this time. And I have next to me Jeremiah Anderson, and he is the owner and also one of the riders in the program that we're going to discuss. And across the table is Tim Oliver, and he is also a rider and a member of Chaos on Wheels. What a name you guys have picked out. My goodness, it almost sounds scary. And yet you've got it all under control, and it is a very exciting show that you'll be presenting. But let's talk about how Chaos on Wheels was formed. I think before, when we sat down at the table here, Jeremiah, you were telling us about how it developed.
Actually, Chaos on Wheels started, it didn't actually have a name. When I got out of high school, I started a bike shop, and we were doing shows at county fairs and stuff to promote the bike shop. And we were using skateboards and rollerblades and everybody, so we had to come up with a name that kind of included everything. So we used Chaos on Wheels because everybody had wheels. And then as we were doing those shows, more and more people would just request us to come do shows, so we kind of closed the bike shop and just went into the entertainment aspect of it, and have been touring since about '95. So.
Wow-wee. That's a long time.
It is. Been a lot of places.
I bet you have, too. Do you primarily just travel in the upper Midwest, or have you been all over the United States?
Mostly been Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, and South Dakota. This year we have some shows booked in Virginia for May, and possibly some in Florida and Texas later on in the year. So we'll be starting to go nationwide, so that's exciting.
And that's one of the things we wanted to that's how we found out about you, in fact, because you're going to be on exhibit in the LaCrosse area very soon. They tell me that you're going to be involved with the Spring Bike Spectacular that's coming to the LaCrosse Center. And then the dates for that are April 4th, 5th, and 6th. But your exhibit will be on Saturday the 5th.
Right.
Yes. Now, when you started the program, as this stunt riding program, how many riders did you have, and what type of stunts did you incorporate?
When we originally began, it was myself and just a bunch of friends that had gone to school with me. It was there's probably 10 of us all together, just kind of rotated around, whatever. It wasn't very organized. Over the past 7 years, I guess it's been now, we've picked up about 5 full-time riders, so now we actually have a team set up that just travels with us, and we rotate. Usually there's 3 or 4 riders at each show. Because we don't like to have everybody ride at every show because people get burned out that way. But so we have a good team that we rotate around with, and I'm pretty happy with everybody we got. They're super cool people, so it's fun.
You have these riders as you go out on the road. Do these riders also have jobs, and this is like an extra thing they do?
Some of them have jobs, and some of them work for Chaos on Wheels. We also build skate parks during the spring and fall, and so some of them are just full-time Chaos on Wheels employees. They build and ride their bikes, so kind of getting to live the dream.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, you said they build skate parks. What is that?
We work with communities, mostly in Iowa, and we're starting to work in Minnesota too, and we sit down with them and communities that want to build a skate park for the local kids. We'll sit down with them and plan it out with them, and then we actually go in and build them and then open them up for them. So.
You heard about our skate park here.
We've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah. And there's another coming in one of the other communities in Alaska, which is got plans, very serious plans to build a skate park. What are the benefits of a skate park?
Well, the most obvious benefit is just keeping kids off the streets and letting them skateboard or bike or rollerblade or whatever in a safe environment. Well, as safe as can be. It's a controlled environment where you don't have to worry about pedestrians and traffic.
That's true.
And another benefit that most people don't realize is just the fact that you offer something like that. There's a lot of kids out there who aren't good at baseball and basketball and football or whatever, and they need some sort of physical activity, and by having a skate park available, younger kids can get involved in this. And personally, I've found that riding my bike has kept me out of a lot of trouble. In high school, I know that a lot of my friends would go out and drink and smoke and whatever, and I'd stay home and ride my bike. And you know, my bike was kind of my anti-drug or whatever you want to call it. And my bike has actually kept me out of a lot of trouble, and I really think it's a good thing for a lot of those kids that don't fit in with the in crowd. You know, I mean, skateboarding and biking can really provide a good
companion or
a good activity.
Sounds like sounds like that's what it is. Well, tell us about your story, Tim. How did you get involved with bikes?
I got involved with bikes about 6 years ago. I used to skateboard. I skateboarded for like 5 years, and I had a friend that rode BMX, and he's my best friend, and I couldn't keep up with him when he rode his bike, and vice versa. So one day I'd ride bike with him, and he'd skateboard the next day. Well, I found BMX to be way funner. So I just decided to start riding BMX, and I caught on pretty quick. I learned some pretty hard tricks right away. And
really. So you just kind of had a natural inclination, would you say?
Yeah.
Because I would imagine there's got to be a lot of practice.
Yeah, definitely a lot of practice, but I think I caught on pretty quick.
Do you think maybe your skateboarding background helped?
Yeah. Skateboarding and BMX, you need really good balance, and I've always been pretty acrobatic, so so it's pretty natural for me.
Yeah. So. Jeremiah, he said something about, he's throwing this term at us, BMX. Tell us what that is for those of us that aren't really familiar with that.
BMX started back in the 70s when the motocross thing was big with the motorcycles, and a lot of the younger kids wanted to get into it, so they started doing it on pedal bikes, basically. You know, it was BMX racing. It was where it started. And then in the 80s, some people took it to the next level and started riding their bikes on skateboard ramps, because skateboarding has been around for a long time. And from there, it's kind of developed into, there's BMX, which is racing, and there's BMX freestyle, which is the ramp riding and the street riding, that type of thing. And I guess we just refer to it as BMX. It's the the bicycle trick riding. We ride the little 20-inch bikes, and
yeah.
That's how it came about. Bicycle motocross is what it stands for, BMX.
Do you have is there a typical appearance to the BMX that we would be able to recognize? Say, since we don't even, all we know is a bicycle is 2 wheels, pedals, and handlebars. What are the distinctive features of a BMX? Probably, is it the little wheels?
Well, it's, a 20-inch bike is what most elementary age kids ride. As far as that size wheels, it's the bike before the 10-speed or the mountain bike or whatever. It's the lower end. What makes a BMX bike or a freestyle bike different from what you'd buy in a department store is just basically the parts and just the strength of them. They're much beefier, they're stronger, they're made out of stronger materials. And
that's a good point.
So, you buy a bike in a department store, it's the same general wheel size, but the actual geometry of the frames and the way they're actually built is, a huge difference.
And that's because you're going to be giving them a lot of wear and tear.
You abuse them.
Put your weight on them.
And they get thrown around a lot and beat on and drop out of the sky with them.
Now we'll talk about your show exhibit in a bit here that you'll be displaying for the community on Saturday, April 5th at the LaCrosse Center. But I think one of the neat things is to tell us how a skater or not a skater but a biker would evolve. Are girls involved with this sport and boys?
There are girls involved. Personally, I think a big reason why there's not a lot of girls involved is just because I think they're smarter than we are. I always tell my wife that that I think that girls probably don't get involved because I think that they're smart enough to not go out and beat themselves up for no apparent reason, and we just do it because it's a thrill. But I think but there are a lot of girls involved, and I think it's pretty cool that everybody can something that anybody can do. So
that is it's almost like an open invitation if you care to, if you have the propensity for acrobatics on a vehicle like this. When we come back, though, I want to be sure to talk talk about safety equipment.
Okay.
Because I think that would be one of the things that would be on the minds of our viewers too. You know, yes, it is daring and it looks so exciting and pumping and all that adrenaline going on, but one of the things I want to talk about is the safety features, because kids are going to try these things, and maybe if we could just give them a heads up before something like that happens, we would be better off here. So we're going to continue our visit with Tim Oliver and Jeremiah Anderson, and we're talking about Chaos on Wheels. And we have a chance for all of us to go and watch the exhibit, but please stay with us. Hi, welcome back to Coulee Conversations. We're visiting with two guests here today. One is Jeremiah Anderson. He's sitting next to me, and he is the owner and also a stunt rider. And across the table is Tim Oliver. He is also one of the stunt riders. They are members of Chaos on Wheels, and they'll be displaying their show and exhibiting for everyone at the Spring Bike Spectacular, which will be at the LaCrosse Center on April 4th, 5th, and 6th. And that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But these guys will be performing on Saturday.
Yeah.
So before the break, though, we were going to talk about safety equipment, because that's so vital. You know, we're welcoming and encouraging everybody to come and see you, but the key here is the safety factor. You guys know what you're doing, don't you? Tim, can you give us some heads up? Jeremiah's like, I wonder if we know what we're doing.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. But Tim, could you give us a heads up on equipment? Because there's a lot of different pieces out there. A lot of people, especially our police, are telling us about the benefits of a helmet.
Yep. Yeah, it's very important to wear all safety equipment. Anything you can get your hands on that'll protect your skin or your body.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to wear.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the riders, we wear helmets, elbow pads and knee pads, shin pads, ankle braces, anything.
Yeah.
So
So if you wanted to, if a person was interested or even beginning to be doing some stunts on their BMX,
Yep.
I'm getting this terminology down, they should be encouraged to take as many pieces of safety
Yep.
into consideration.
Yeah, definitely as many pieces as possible.
Yeah.
It can only help it, you know.
Yeah.
Even
So the helmet, and then what else? You said gloves?
We wear gloves to protect our hands if we fall, elbow pads, knee pads, shin pads to protect our shins,
And you said ankle braces.
ankle braces.
Are any of those pieces of equipment, do they cause an encumbrance upon your stunts?
No.
Nope. You need them, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
You need 'em.
For the type of riding we do, especially, we definitely need them. Sometimes we're falling out of the sky from 20 feet up.
Ooh.
So you know, if you lose track of your bike, you want to land as safe as possible. So.
Yeah, and be protected.
Exactly.
Because that's the first thing that goes out is your hands, so you wear
Yep, your
gloves.
hand, yep,
You wear gloves to protect that skin, and being skinned up and breaking any bones there.
yep. Many broken bones.
Oh, I don't even know if I want to ask you how many broken bones you two have had. We've had guys on here from Lumberjack, the exhibits that they make too, and they've had some accidents. But there's when you're coming to make this and display this exhibit for us, and you're going to perform your stunts for everybody, what type of equipment do you have? Do you have ramps? Do you bring your own ramps?
We travel with a portable ramp setup. The last couple of years we've been using what it's called a 8-foot tall. It's a quarter pipe, which is just one ramp. It's on one end of the setup, and then in about the center of our setup, then we have a 5-foot tall. It's called a jump box, which is a ramp to a wedge, and most of the stuff goes on over the 5-foot box. A lot of the tricks are done over that, you know. 6 to 7 feet above it, so you know, about 13 feet in the air or whatever. But then on the 8-foot quarter pipe, you know, we do a lot of aerial stuff on that too. And
8-foot
it's
quarter.
8 feet tall, and a lot of the tricks are done about 4 feet in the air above it, so it's 12 feet off the ground. So
Woo! So you do go flying.
we
Yeah.
fly, yeah.
So then when you talk about dropping from the sky, that's what that's
Right.
all about.
Yeah,
So I think this would be entertaining for all ages.
definitely.
Is that what you
yeah.
is that what you direct it to?
We, you know, there's a lot of you know, probably middle school age kids that are really involved in it, you know, interested in doing it themselves. But I think parents and, you know, even grandparents enjoy just coming to watch.
Yeah.
I think just anybody, a lot of people, you know, you get people there who say, hey, I've seen this on TV, but I've never gotten to see it in person, you know, and it's, you know, it's something to see in person, you know. I mean, I remember the first time I went to a big national contest where there were a lot of professionals, you know, and this is, you know, when I first got started. It's pretty awe-inspiring seeing people fly, you know, 15, 20 feet in the air, you know, and going upside down and everything else, you know.
So do you get a thrill out of this too?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What's your
definitely.
favorite stunt?
My backflip.
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 You go up and
Yep,
back.
you go off the ramp, upside down, and then
Twirl
land back
around
on the
and you're
wheels.
back down.
Yep.
Now that's why you said the equipment has to be pretty sturdy, because it's taking your weight as well as the pressure from the landing.
Right.
Incredible. So there are specific bikes for these, specific equipment.
Right, right.
For all
Yeah,
of
there are a number of companies that make bikes just for what we do.
Pretty
so,
sturdy ones
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah. You have another message though that's delivered too, and I wanted to also share that with our viewers about Chaos on Wheels.
Well, when we first got started doing Chaos on Wheels, as I said earlier, we were doing it to promote a bike shop, and we were doing it entertainment value only. And about the third year into doing it, we were at a county fair, and I had some people with me who were doing skateboard stunts, and a couple of them were smokers and stuff, and they'd go out after shows behind the ramp and smoke. And some friends of my parents actually came and talked to my dad after we'd been in town for a week or whatever, and their son, who was like 4 years old, would go out in the front yard and roll a piece of paper and pull his pants down, you know, a little bit, you know, because of the big baggy clothes, you know, and he'd be sucking on a piece of paper, and they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I want to be like those guys, you know. And it really hit me, because I'm a Christian, and I've grown up in a Christian home, and I really believe that, you know, God has given me all this and it's talent, and it really just convicted me and said, hey, you know, these kids are looking up to you, and, you know, it really realized that when we're out there, people are watching us, and they're really looking up to what we're doing, and, you know, they're impressed by what we do on our bikes, but I really think we have a you know, a responsibility, I guess, to share what we believe, because I think God's given me the ability to ride my bike, and, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for Him, and, you know, so.
So early on, you decided you wanted to convey that message then too.
Yeah, you know, without Jesus Christ in my life, you know, I wouldn't be able to do any of this, you know. One of our main slogans for Chaos on Wheels is a Bible verse, Philippians 4:13, that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And it's really a favorite verse of mine, because when I first started doing bike riding and stuff, I would see all these pros doing all this stuff, and they're really good. And I would go out in my backyard and ride on my ramps and crash and fall down and get hurt, and I couldn't learn anything. And then one day that verse just kind of popped into my head, and I thought, And I started thinking about it, and I said, well, according to this verse, I can do anything, you know. And so now if I sit down and I pray before I ride, and, you know, I say, okay, God, you know, this is your thing. Do whatever you're going to do, you know, give me the strength to do it. I ride so much better than if I just try to do it on my own. And I really think that's the same with everybody's personal life. You know, if you go through your life trying to do everything on your own, you're going to get to a certain point, but without God or letting, you know, the power of Christ in your life to control it and change you, you know, you're never going to reach your full potential. And so I think that's one thing that we really like to push, you know, and just, I don't know, not really push it on people, but just share to people that that's, you know, why we're here, and that's how we do this. You know, it's not because of anything we've ever done. It's just...
That's your guidepost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And so you have a terrific opportunity to share this message that you have too.
Really, you get people there watching the show, and we found that if we do youth events and stuff too, you can sit down and pretty much anything you say on the microphone, they're going to listen to. They're kind of a captive audience, so I kind of have fun with that. You know? And I don't like preaching at people, but it's fun to just be able to share.
You just get to share that message out there and let them know that that's the underlying key.
I love meeting people. I mean, that's why we tour. We could ride at home every day, but we wouldn't get to meet the people. So that's why we go on tour and do shows, is to meet people and share with them what, you know, we found true to be in our lives, and, you know, so they don't have to make the same mistakes we do.
That's what it's all about. It's time for a break right now. We'll be back after these messages and continue our visit with Tim Oliver and Jeremiah Anderson. Please stay with us. Hi, welcome back to Coulee Conversations. We're visiting with Jeremiah Anderson and Tim Oliver. And they're telling us about the different display and the exhibit and the shows that we're going to be able to see at the LaCrosse Center the coming weekend, but I wanted to be sure to, we found out before the break, Jeremiah, when we left before the break, you were telling us about this message, this opportunity that you had to actually share some information with the students, or not the students, but the young people that would help them, as you said, kind of help them get through some of these bumps and these mistakes and that happen in life, not only on their wheels.
Right.
But you have other affiliations too?
Yeah, with Chaos on Wheels, we've been doing, stunt shows and stuff, and I have my, I do my Christian message or whatever, I share what God's done in my life. And kind of through Chaos on Wheels, I've met some people, and actually been approached to work for Youth for Christ in Albert Lea, Minnesota. And through them for the last, it's been 3 years now, we've been doing a skateboard ministry where we have a ramp, where I've built a ramp, and we just take kids out there and we hang out with them and let them skate and just kind of share what, God does in our lives, and, hopefully they get some, we provide a good example, I guess, is, what we try to do. And kind of
you're so right. You're so right. Our youth do not have someone to convey that truth.
Well, there's a lot of places you can get negative stuff, you know, and that's one thing with our shows too. We play all Christian music, all the bands that are on our music during our shows are all Christian bands, because, you can go anywhere to get negative, secular music, but there's a lot of Christian bands out there that are really good musicians, and they have a good message too. And so we really believe in trying to be as positive as possible. And but through Youth for Christ and stuff, we've started to develop training seminars and stuff like that too, where we can help younger kids learn how to skateboard or ride their bikes and stuff, and do some training stuff, and kind of keep them safe, work on that natural progression, so they don't get on their skateboards or their bikes and think they can do all these crazy stunts right away.
Right now.
And work them up, and get them wearing the safety equipment and that type of thing. And
right, right. Tim, you were able to give us some hints on what you guys wear earlier as far as the safety equipment. One of the things that these gentlemen tell me that they'll be having 3 shows at the LaCrosse Center on Saturday, April 5th. And one of the things I want to make sure that we talk about are some of the things that we're going to see. What are the names of these stunts that you'll be performing? And what should we look for as you perform them?
Pretty much look for anything you've ever seen on TV. X Games, backflips, tail whips, 360s, and we spin this way, we spin this way. Completely hanging off our bikes. We don't even touch our bikes sometimes in the air, and a lot of different tricks, a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, and you just do it from those 2 ramps that you have.
Those 2 ramps, yeah.
Yeah.
With the team of riders that we've put together, we've tried to put a good diversity of riders together. There's so many different riding styles out there, and Tim's talking about the backflips and the 360s and the tail whips, and those are the really big tricks that people see a lot of.
Tail whips.
Tail whips. Tail whip is actually where you're on your bike and you kick the frame of the bike around, and it comes around and they get back on.
Sure, we've seen that. You're right, we have seen these things.
Yeah, you've seen them. Most people just don't know the names. But we've also, some of our riders do what's called flatland, which is a lot of stunts on the ground without the ramps. It's really technical stuff.
Wow.
So you'll see some of that. We usually open up the show with some flatland and some, more technical, smaller ramp stuff, and then work into the bigger stuff. So, and it all depends on how good the crowd is. The louder the crowd is, the better we ride. That's the one thing we always start out with is, just remind them that the more noise they make, the better we're going to ride. So,
just
the more people, the better.
You bet. Well, you guys said that you're going to have 3 shows there, and at the LaCrosse Center. It's the Bikes Limited Spring Bike Spectacular, and it's going to be at the LaCrosse Center in downtown LaCrosse on April 4th, 5th, and 6th, and that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Chaos on Wheels are going to be there, and these gentlemen will be riding. Tim, what is your specialty?
The backflip.
The backflip.
I got the backflip.
And what is yours, Jeremiah?
I guess I do a lot of X-ups, which is you turn the bars around backwards, and I like to link those with pretty much any trick. I do a lot of combination stuff. So
it all scares me, but I'm sure it's exciting to watch, and I'm sure that the kids will be there to watch and maybe get some tips. Will they have a chance to visit with you and ask you questions about,
definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. After each show, we hang out, and we just really encourage people to come over and talk to us.
Good.
And we love meeting people, and we love answering questions. And, as I said earlier, we can ride at our homes anytime, but we love to meet people. So
okay.
So come on down and meet us and
Absolutely.
We'll sign autographs or whatever.
Okay, that sounds great. It sounds like a wonderful opportunity. We've been visiting with Jeremiah Anderson and Tim Oliver, and they are stunt riders with Chaos on Wheels, and they have a special message that they shared with us earlier in the program. We'd like to thank them for joining us on Coulee Conversations, and we'd like to thank you for joining us on Coulee Conversations. Please join us again.